What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility, and as well what just came out associated to NIO. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, as far as this week, there isn't anything planned associated to NIO itself, but coming from a larger standpoint, there's a lot of American data points coming out that could really propel NIO higher, because for those of you that have been watching my channel, I like to analyze where the volume does come from, and the majority of the volume as of late has been coming from algorithmic trading, and that's just due to the large optimism in the broader market. So going into this upcoming week, the fear and greed index is under the greed category, potentially even able to push it to the extreme greed. Right now, the American market did price out that 50 basis point cut, so it's going to take for face value the actual true data. And this upcoming week, there is a lot of key ones. So you have CPI on Thursday, PPI on Friday, and a couple Fed speakers at the beginning part of the week. So all of which could really propel NIO higher. Aside from that, China could come out with further developments associated to their stimulus. There was a very good article that did come out. I'm not going to waste your time going through it because it is very lengthy, but the moral of the story is similar to what happened in 2008, in case you guys haven't, or some of you guys haven't been born during that time frame, but China did a similar stimulus early on, and because of that, they avoided much of the difficulties that the rest of the world did kind of encounter. So all in all, like, China is kind of preparing themselves just in case, again, even if a recession does happen. That's not the basis of why they did this stimulus, but it could have kind of a twofold effect where it's really protecting a lot of Chinese stocks as well, and just their market. So in general, that's kind of a good thing. Again, not talking about recession or whatever else, but I'm going to have a link or put this in the description below for those of you that want to read it. It is a very good read if you ask me, so kind of just watch for that. But there was one thing that did come out as of Friday, very good stuff, and that was a MOU. So NIO did sign a MOU with CYVN Holdings, and so that is for Nio MENA, if I'm saying that right. So essentially, they're going to be building a R&D center in Abu Dhabi, and that's just more focusing for autonomous driving. And not only that, but it looks like they're going to be kind of building the foundation for integration in Egypt. So this is very kick-ass news. And so once again, NIO already has a plethora of partnerships out there. A lot of companies can't say the same kind of thing that NIO has. Like, they have so many partnerships, and this is really solidifying their future. Like I said, I think just in the past, the market has really pinned NIO down due to it being a Chinese stock, but with this stimulus, it is really drawing a lot more attention to it, and that is very clear based on this. So these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. It is a very big increase, don't get me wrong, but still majority of the volume does come from algorithmic trading. And I've been covering NIO kind of on and off, I don't even remember, like the last 6 months, something like that. And when I first started covering NIO, like, if you guys remember, there was maybe one transaction every like 3 or 4 days. This is just in one day. This was from Thursday, Wednesday. So big money is paying attention to it. And it is because just basically on a PS ratio, comparing any American stock that has a very high multiple to NIO, NIO is the best bang for your buck. NIO is that diamond in the rough. If anyone is looking for a value play, you would kind of gravitate towards NIO. So once again, that's kind of a good thing. Aside from that, though, there was this that did come out by NIO Investor. It looks like NIO Switzerland, but of course, a lot of things have been coming out about that new European tariffs. Even though I feel like that was just a FUD article just to bring down NIO essentially, but a lot of good points were brought up here. Just NIO barely even kind of is in the European market. Of course, that could develop over the coming years and tariffs would really slow that, but as it stands, it doesn't really directly affect NIO. And based on what was stated right here, they could just import the cars and just without the batteries and kind of just do a workaround. So it's not that big of a deal. But still, aside from that, with the momentum potentially on the table for this upcoming week, you're going to have shorts relatively active. So especially at the beginning part of Friday, I've already done a full video all about that, but net shorts did return around 32,000 shares. Going into this upcoming week, 12.68% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 169.32 million shares. Just drawing your attention to this right here, so you can kind of see shorts have started to really get back in. So they're getting a little bit more of a confidence once again. So hopefully, like I said, there is some developments coming out associated to the whole stimulus and just good momentum in the market to really say F you to the shorts. But again, sometimes my crystal ball is sometimes wrong. We'll just have to wait and see, but anticipate shorts to be very, very active. And going back over to the data, if, for instance, one of the Fed speakers says something off-putting, or even if CPI or PPI is negative, anticipate shorts to really double down fairly high. So when it comes down to last week, so this is the current open interest for the calls. So with NIO closing above that 650 mark, so that does show 17,000 in open interest at that 650, 15,000 at that 6, and then you guys can kind of see the rest. But essentially that works out to be almost around 3.5 million shares that is in the money. Everything above that is regrettably going to expire worthless. That's kind of the downside of doing options. But beside the point, when it comes down to market makers having to cover that, majority of the time you do see it occur on Monday, and that's just to avoid volatility. And usually a lot of market makers don't have a lot of volatile stocks such as NIO readily available. So that does mean come Monday you could see a nice quick bump up in the stock price just as market makers are covering this. So again, that's something to maybe just keep in mind first thing on Monday. But subtract everything, the Fed speakers and the data points, it is all going to come back onto the technicals. And the technicals have been playing a very big part in NIO. So right now with it at $6.77, it is trading between this R1 and the R2. So $6.69 will be a strong support, and then $7.70 or $7.07 is going to be the next strong resistance slash target. And majority of the last couple days of last week is more oriented towards kind of the downside, so there was a lot of suppression happening. But with Monday now kind of analyzing this MOU, logically the stock price should go up. So we'll kind of have to wait and see. During the 24-hour trading through IBKR, it's around 1% up right now, but of course not that much volume and very wide spreads, so not really worthwhile even bringing up. But on the actual chart itself, a little bit of consolidation, as I brought up in the past, is relatively good for any stock. Any stock running up as much as NIO has, you're going to have a certain level of profit taking. But the key points are you just need to watch for it to still have higher highs and higher lows. So you could see some consolidation, a lot of volatility. You can tell that based on the fib levels, very wide gaps. So there is going to be a continuation of volatility. So just be prepared, right? So NIO could go down to kind of the low 6s and then bounce to the 8s. Once again, it's done that time and time again in the past. So in general, it is still higher percentile. So the trend is still relatively good. Because of the consolidation on stochastic, you do see it at 66. So still arguably a little bit overbought, but it has gone down quite a lot from what it was. A number of retail investors can't get enough of NIO. So let me know your thoughts on NIO. As far as price prediction, I do feel that it will probably settle around that 750 unless, again, there is some good news that does come out associated to the whole China stimulus. Then that's going to be like a whole new level of FOMO and potentially pushing it above that 8, maybe even 9. The Elliott wave technicals, as I brought up, I think it was like a week ago, still is indicating for NIO to get to around that 950 range. So yeah, I think NIO is a very, very discounted stock. It just is very heavily manipulated. And when it comes down to manipulation, anything is possible. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Give me your price predictions in the comments below. Take advantage of this promo. It does give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000 as well. If you do like my channel and want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships in the description below. I greatly appreciate that. And with all that said, I appreciate all of you guys watching.